everyone, so it's good to see you all again. I'm Natasha and welcome back. So today we're going to continue our fifth chapter and it's quadratic equation. Well, the fifth chapter was actually complex numbers in quadratic equations. Well, we have already discussed about the complex numbers, so in this video, from now on, we'll be discussing about quadratic equations. So, as both of these topics are, in the same chapter, and it's the fifth chapter, so, as I told you, that, today's topic is going to be related to quadratic equations. These are some, this is just a kind of an equation, which is related to something square, square things, okay? And and if I'm going to talk about the previous topic, in the previous video, we discussed about, okay, as far as I remember, yeah, so we discussed something in complex numbers, and it was related to argument, I think so. Right? I think so. Actually, I really forgot what did I discuss. So, but yeah, it was for sure, related to the argument of a complex number. And so, whatever, let's just not waste our time and let's get started. Okay, so first thing is, what is this quadratic equations? I have discussed quadratic. I've discussed the meaning of quadratic with you already. So, but now in this case, we're going to talk about this quadratic equations, okay? This quadratic equations. So, I hope you can, clearly hear me. Hello? Okay? Whatever. Sorry for the disturbance and continue. So, quadratic equations. So, these are some kind of equations in which we talk about this squaring thing, okay? So, this quadratic word is a Latin word, okay? This is really clear to us, right? So, this name quadratic came from this quad. So, this quadratic word came from this word quad, which means square, okay? I think I've already told you about this, right? Yeah, so this quad is for square. Okay, so this is totally clear to us, okay? Next thing is that why is it related to the squaring things? It's because, any variable we get, the variable gets squared. If you have seen, some examples of quadratic equations, so let me tell you some examples, okay? So, for example, okay, so I'll be taking some few examples 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, so this is an example of quadratic equation. Let's take another one. I'm going to say 7x squared plus 2x, okay? This is also a quadratic equation. Okay, so we've got these things, it's related to the squaring thing. So, if I'm gonna have a look at these variables, okay? This is kind of a variable, right? And we're getting this square thing, right? This x to the power 2, right? Yeah, so that's why we call it this quadratic as the square. We're mainly representing or talking about this squared thing, okay? And it is also called an equation of degree 2. Equation of degree 2. It is also called known as the equation of degree 2, as the equation of degree 2. Okay, so it is also known as the equation of degree 2. And now the question comes up, why is it known as, like, why is it called, the equation of degree 2? It's just because of this x to the power 2, where our power is 2. That's why, So, like I can say because of this 2, which is the power of the x, okay? Okay, so I hope these two, basic and small things are clear to us. So let's move on to the main thing, the standard form of quadratic equations. And I'm going to tell you about all these soon or later, whatever we can say. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the standard form, okay? The standard form. So what's the standard form? Standard form is where we have three numbers, I can say, like where ax squared plus bx plus c. This is an equation, this kind of equation. So an equation in the form of, this way, in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is called as the quadratic equation, which is, it's because it's related to this x squared thing, right? Okay, so what I'll say that an equation which will be equal to 0. Okay, so now the second thing comes that, okay, the stars look nice, better enough. Yeah, so, what was I saying is, if I'm going to talk about this A, B, and C, okay, let's forget about this. I'm just going to, erase them. There's no need to underline them. Okay, so this A, B, and C. A, B, and C are the known values, which we already know, like we know their values. And one thing that this A cannot be equal to 0. So this A is not equal to 0. Like whatever quadratic equation will have, in that, that this A will not be equal to 0. So this A shouldn't be equal to 0. That's what we can say in a simple way. Otherwise, like if this B can be 0, C can be 0 too, but not this A, which is related to this x squared, okay? Okay, so this should be, not equal to 0. That's one thing. Okay, now I'm going to talk about this x thing, okay? What is this x? As we already know that, what we can see here is this is, an unknown or variable, unknown or variable. This x is, unknown, is an unknown or variable. That makes sense. Okay, so what did I wrote here? This x is an unknown or variable. Okay, so what I can say is, either I can say that this is an, x, this is an unknown thing, okay, or it's just a variable, or I can say that this is an unknown variable. Like, do you get it? Like, through this unknown variable, like, what's the difference between them? The unknown or variable or the unknown variable. So unknown is just like we don't know about this, and a variable, like, it's of course going to be a variable. So what is it saying that this is a variable? As we can see, as we know in the equation, what we have is a variable and a constant, right? This is the constant, of course, and this is the variable. So that's why x is a variable for us, or in the other ways, x is just an unknown, okay? It's just unknown. But we can't say it as the unknown variable. It's because it doesn't make sense, because we already know that x is actually a variable. So there's Nothing to say that like either like unknown or known or anything, okay? Just in a simple way, I'm going to write that x is the variable or unknown. So either it's going to be variable or unknown. That's it. If it's clear, then let's move on. Okay, so that was, just a really easy thing. Let's put them in quotes, okay? Yeah. So I hope these two small points are clear to us. And as the quadratic equations was, we studied about them in earlier classes, like you studied about it. But I thought that, I should start from the beginning, just to discuss some few basic things of this topic. And so, I just discussed about these all things in this video. Okay, so, so that was like all the things, which was related to this quadratic equations. And I hope this is clear to you. So let's take some few examples to, tell this as the quadratic equation. So, I've already written these two examples. Now let's understand them. Okay? And let's see them. So this 2x plus 5x plus 3, is equal to, or, I can say it another way. Okay, so let's talk about this A, B, and C thing, okay? So for this 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 is for, this A is equal to 2, the B is equal to 5, and C is equal to 3. Okay, so this is like totally clear to us, isn't it? Okay, so let's move on to the second one, which is 7x squared plus 2x. So for this one, can we say that is this a quadratic equation? Of course it is. It doesn't matter, like it shouldn't be like, it shouldn't have like all the three values together, written. Let me tell you, as we know that this A is equal to 7, the B is equal to 2, but what's the value of C? Okay, it's anything which is 0, or its value is 0. We don't always write it. Okay, so this is just in constant, and the constant's value is 0. That's clear to us. That's why it wasn't, represented here. Okay, we can also we could have written it like this way: 7x squared plus 2x plus 0. But that doesn't matter. That isn't that necessary, because we already know if the value is not, if the constant, if there isn't any constant, this means the constant's value is 0. The constant is actually 0. Okay, and as these things where where these equations, where the variables, where the constants are not represented, we call them as the hidden quadratic equation, like hidden, which among them some part is hidden. Okay, so let's take one more example. Okay, so how about I say so how about I say z minus 1. Okay, let me write it again, just wait a second. Okay, so this z minus 1 is equal to 3. Okay, so what is this? An example. Okay, so what is this? Z minus 1, which is equal to 3. So can you tell me that, what will the value of A? A will be equal to, guess what? A will be equal to 1. Okay? B will be equal to -1. And finally, C will be equal to 3. Is this clear? If yes, then let's know about it, okay? Then let's know about it. Okay, c is going to be -3. Now let me tell you how. Okay, there's some like usually just a confusion between the positive and the negative. So let's, let me just tell you again. Okay, so if we like, simplify it a little bit, just simplifying, not in the case exactly simplifying, but how did I got my values, all these values? Z minus 1 is equal to 3, right? It was this thing, okay? So what I did was this Z, which was here, and this 3, which was here. So what I did that I wrote Z minus 1 as Z square minus Z minus 3, which is going to be equal to 0. Is it clear? Okay, so how about I write this too? Okay, I will write it here. Okay, so I write it here, this thing Z minus 1, which was equal to 3. So what I did, first thing which I did was that I just moved this 3 at the another side, the left hand side. So what I got here was Z minus 1, and as of course it was a positive, so it was negative, it will be negative, so -3. Okay, this is totally clear to us, right? One thing before that, the Z value, I took it as Z square. Why? Now the question comes, why? And is this the exactly right form? Is this exactly the right form we should write? Is this the exactly form you should write? To express the quadratic equations, no, it was absolutely right, but the difference is between the, but the whole thing that matters is the variable. So we have to, just focus on the variable, and so it will be, okay, as we had this one. So this one is actually equal to, okay, so in an equation, if one variable is given to us, then this one variable is for all the constants, okay? Oh, not the last one, which is C. It's always, C is for the constant, okay? Only A and B, this belongs to the variable. So they have like variables, okay? But not the C, because it's always like constant. So for the first one, I will have square as my first value can't be equal to 0, and it will always have this x to the part square. That part to the square thing will always be here. So as you can see, our Z square is here. Minus will be exactly same, so -1. At the place of 1, I can also write as Z, right? Because I can see that my value Z is equal to 1 for this case, okay? So minus Z, and this, I just moved it here, so, as it was positive, so it's going to be -3. And for this way, I got my value, right? As 1 squared will be 1, -1, -1, and -3, right? So this is how I got my value, and that was just super duper easy. Okay, so that was just, a piece of cake, and we have finished it. So it's all over, and I think, that's enough for today. So in the next video, we will continue in this topic, and, we'll discuss about... Okay, so we'll discuss about some few methods, to solve these quadratic equations. There will be 3 methods or ways, I can say. First one will be the, quadratic. Okay, so the main thing that I want to tell you right now, I'm not going to tell you all the things here. So quadratic formula will be here, okay? And mainly, as in this chapter, we're directly given, in the quadratic equations formula, that quadratic formula is directly given to us, which is something like this. I actually haven't seen it, but it was something like plus minus b under root b minus 4ac, something like this, by 2ac, right? It was something this, I can't just exactly remember for now, but it was something like this. And so we'll discuss about this formula, this quadratic formula. This is known as the quadratic formula, and we'll discuss it in the next video, or maybe in another video. So, thanks for watching and have a great day.